Visa-free travel to Singapore for Chinese passport holders sounded like a dream, but reality has revealed a harsh truth. A Chinese man recently caused chaos at Changi Airport, even spitting at staff in frustration. Across the world, the Chinese passport has become a symbol of embarrassment, drawing prejudice and suspicion. Inside China, the Communist Party scrutinizes passports relentlessly, confiscating them at will. Today, let's dive deep into this controversial issue with us and insights from Chinese viewers worldwide. I once held a Chinese passport myself, and the experience was nothing short of humiliating. As a single woman traveling under a document issued by the Chinese Communist government, I constantly faced judgment and bias. Even applying for a visa to developed countries felt like being treated as a criminal, authorities digging into every detail of your life, as if you were inherently untrustworthy. The experience was insulting and degrading. Wherever you go, carrying a Chinese red passport comes with a stigma. You are seen as untrustworthy, uncultured, unwelcome, and often disliked. A passport should reflect a nation's diplomatic power, the freedom its citizens enjoy abroad. But for many Chinese travelers, the reality is stark. Limited visa-free access, constant scrutiny, and public humiliation. Contrast this with Taiwanese passports, which grant visa-free access to 142 countries, including major destinations like the U.S. Travel is effortless. Pack your bags and go. Many Chinese feel their passport is one of the hardest to use in the world. Overseas, Chinese travelers are often treated like suspects, extorted by immigration officers, denied visas, lost business opportunities, detained, mocked, and publicly shamed. Dignity and respect, frequently ignored. After the introduction of visa-free travel between China and Singapore, many hoped for smooth journeys, but problems arose immediately. One Chinese netizen on TikTok recounted being denied entry, locked in a dark room, and losing more than 10,000 RMB in travel expenses. Despite visiting dozens of countries with complex visa requirements, she had never faced such arbitrary treatment. Even planned collaborations, like a hotel stay she was invited to for promotion, were ruined. Visa-free entry, in theory, represents trust between nations, acknowledging travelers' legal status and economic reliability. In practice, Chinese travelers often face interrogation, denial, and deportation, even in countries that claim visa-free arrangements. Take the case of 38-year-old Zheng Mo. Arriving at Singapore's Changi Airport, he was stopped, denied entry, and taken to a dark room while awaiting deportation. Resisting, he was forcibly escorted by officers using a wheelchair, shouting and spitting in frustration. He later faced charges for assaulting an officer and disturbing public order, receiving an 8-week prison sentence. Netizens sarcastically pointed out that a Chinese red passport often offers little protection. Display it proudly, but it may earn you suspicion instead of respect. Another traveler, Xiao Yi, was refused entry in Thailand and without explanation and trapped between two countries. Incidents are widespread. A netizen from Suzhou documented harassment at Cairo Airport, where Chinese travelers were singled out and pressured for bribes, while others passed freely. Despite CCP propaganda claiming the Chinese passport is prestigious, ordinary travelers experience humiliating delays, extra fees, and selective scrutiny. Meanwhile, China has tightened exit policies. Obtaining a passport is increasingly difficult. Leaving the country is never guaranteed, and citizens are regularly denied exit at customs. One heartbreaking example: a student accepted to Cambridge University in the UK had her flight ready, tuition paid, but was barred from leaving China at the last moment, missing her only eligible arrival date. Visa-free travel should symbolize freedom and trust, but for Chinese travelers, it often highlights restrictions, humiliation, and unpredictability. Behind every red passport is a story of struggle, prejudice, and frustration, a reality far from the freedom it promises. Recently, another netizen preparing to study in Malaysia posted a shocking question. "Anyone from Xinjiang? How did you even get your passport?" They said a school acceptance letter is required just to issue a passport. I was stunned. To apply to any school abroad, you first need a passport to get an acceptance letter. It feels like applying for an ID card instead of a passport. This should be a basic right for every Chinese citizen. Why make it so difficult? It's completely absurd. And it's not just students. Now, even elderly citizens in some areas cannot obtain passports. Over the past 2 years, many regions have severely restricted passport issuance. In some cases, people can't even renew expired passports. One netizen from Hunan shared a frustrating personal story. She wanted her parents to visit during the Lunar New Year. Their passports had expired in July 2026, so she advised them to renew them. But when they went to the authorities, they were denied renewal, interrogated, and asked to provide employment certificates, visas, and proof of authenticity before being allowed to proceed. Since July, exit restrictions have become extremely strict. Around 5 to 6 people traveling from China to the U.S. daily were denied exit. Even with complete legal documentation, citizens in some cities still cannot obtain passports. Following the post-pandemic reopening, the outflow of personnel and assets seems to have triggered even tighter controls. Statistics from 2024 show that roughly 30,000 people travel to Southeast Asia daily for tourism or business. For instance, from January to June 2024, Laos saw a tenfold increase in visitors compared to previous years, reaching over 200,000 from July to October. Yet many netizens report that even first-time travelers carrying blank passports have been denied entry in Laos and other Southeast Asian countries. A controversial post circulating online compared U.S. and Chinese passports. The U.S. passport boldly declares, wherever you are, the U.S. government is your strong support, while the Chinese passport reads, please comply with local laws and respect local customs. Ordinary travelers often find this ironic and frustrating, especially when CCP media dismisses concerns, while netizens continue expressing skepticism and dissatisfaction. The situation is even more complicated for dual citizens. Recently, a Chinese-Australian dual citizen named Sam, living in Melbourne, faced major obstacles traveling from Hangzhou to Australia. At the border, the system flagged his dual citizenship, preventing him from leaving. Although Sam became an Australian citizen 14 years ago, he had not formally canceled his Chinese household registration for convenience. Officials forced him to cancel it on the spot. To make matters worse, the Public Security Office was closed for the National Day holiday, delaying his plans and costing him 4,000 RMB in fines for overdue days. Sam's case is far from unique. Media reports show that dual citizens are frequently blocked from leaving China. Chinese nationality law does not recognize dual citizenship. Acquiring another nationality automatically nullifies Chinese nationality. Yet many retain their Chinese documents for convenience when working or managing affairs domestically. Canceling household registration is not only bureaucratically exhausting, but also emotionally painful, as it feels like cutting ties with one's homeland. Netizens advise anyone considering foreign citizenship to carefully weigh the importance of retaining their Chinese passports, household registration, and ID cards against the legal and emotional implications of their new nationality. For many, the struggle to travel freely abroad has turned a simple passport into a symbol of stress, humiliation, and uncertainty, highlighting a deeply controversial and ongoing issue in China today. Exit restrictions in China have become increasingly severe, especially for specific groups. Government officials, state-owned enterprise managers, and employees in sensitive positions now undergo intense political and security reviews before they can leave the country. According to foreign media reports, on September 30th, the State Administration of the People's Bank of China introduced stricter exit controls. Starting October 1st, 2025, division-level officials or above are allowed to travel abroad only once per year, and every business trip requires multiple layers of approval. While this policy is not officially published, it is rigorously enforced internally. A division-level financial official admitted, previously most reasonable requests were approved, but now even one extra trip is denied. Sensitive sectors, particularly finance, are the first to feel the impact. Officials under these rules describe feeling powerless. A manager at the Nanjing branch of the Agricultural Bank said, being limited to one trip per year means losing countless opportunities abroad. It affects personal growth, family life, and even future career prospects. Maybe only after retirement can one travel freely. Similarly, a Beijing manager at the Bank of Communications was denied a summer visit to see his child studying in the UK, having already traveled abroad once during Lunar New Year. His superiors cited discipline and overall circumstances, but the personal toll was significant. Some bank leaders revealed that passports must be centrally held, and individuals are not allowed to keep them, leaving them feeling trapped and powerless. In practice, over the past 2 years, the CCP has been actively reclaiming passports from division-level employees across the administrative system. These restrictions target two main groups. First, officials with actual power or financial authority, like senior bank managers, to prevent capital flight. Second, senior technical personnel whose access to sensitive information abroad could pose national or personal risks. Shanghai lawyer Chu Fong highlighted the legal concerns. Civil servants need unit approval even to reclaim passports, raising questions about legality. Passports are state-issued exit documents, not privileges granted by one's workplace. Restricting citizens' freedom under the pretext of unit control is both illegal and unreasonable. In a system where passports are sometimes used as rewards for loyalty, while ordinary officials are restricted, basic human rights are being compromised. Opportunities to travel, maintain family connections abroad, or pursue personal development are limited, and many feel their freedom is being stripped away under the guise of political control. The growing restrictions on travel illustrate a deeper reality. Even high-ranking officials entrusted with power and sensitive responsibilities are not immune to a system that increasingly prioritizes control over personal freedom.